So welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, I've got Tommy Frank. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Honestly, privileged to have you on, mate. I know you're a busy guy and you've got lots going on, and not too long till we get to fight week now. But until we have a chat about that, it all started July 2016.
Yes, it did. Yeah, yeah. You're taking me back now. It's I'll have been 5 years a pro. I've been so yeah. July 2016, I made my debut in Rotherham, just outside of Sheffield. So yeah, everyone remembers the debut. Sergey Tasimov, I boxed on my debut, four rounds. And yeah, that's the rest is history, as they said. But you never forget your debut. You know, every fighter will tell you that.
How did you feel? What was that? What was that exact feeling when you got in that ring and everyone was there? You know, you've got family and friends, supporters. What was that feeling? How do you describe that?
Oh, it was brilliant. I mean, to be honest with you, it all happened really fast because I think I had my last amateur fight. I'm not exactly sure what month, and then I knew that I was going to be turning pro. So obviously, I went and medicals done and everything like that. And then my stablemate at the time now is one of the trainers, Sam Sheeder, former Commonwealth middleweight champion. He was boxing. He topped the bill that night. So I was training alongside Sam, and then I think about 3 weeks before I got the opportunity. You know, I got my medicals through and everything. I didn't know that I'd be boxing that soon, but I got an opportunity to sign in on that. So that were a brilliant experience for me. You know, I'm very close with Sam still, and just to be on his undercard and training alongside him. He fought Andrew Robinson that night. He was a very tough guy. It turned out to be a tough fight for Sam. I think he actually I think he injured his back or something like 2 days before the fight, Sam, and I think he woke up on the day of the fight and he could hardly get out of bed. I mean, how we went through with the fight, he couldn't warm up in the changing rooms or anything. You know, he could literally just, he had to get a lot of massage and loosen himself off and things. And he managed to get through the fight and he won. You know, it was a really tough fight. So yeah, that were the night of my debut. Yeah.
Blimey. So there's mixed emotions from every angle, weren't there? From you and from him, and it's and as you say, you never forget your debut, do you? That's the benchmark and the platform that you work from.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a lot of fighters will probably tell you they don't remember too much about the fights. You know, it's always, I don't know whether it's like adrenaline or something like that, but you always obviously you remember little bits of the fights and little bits come back to you. But I think when you're in the fight and the adrenaline's going, after that wears off afterwards, it must kind of like take away some memory because a lot of fights are a bit blurred. Like I've had my 15th fight coming up. So to go through 15 fights and think and actually remember who you boxed and how many rounds and what happened during the fight, it's quite hard. You know, obviously you remember bits of every fight and whatnot. Or if someone, asks you about, like you just asked me about my debut, I hadn't thought about boxing my debut for a long time. I mean, one thing I can remember about it, after the first round, I came back to the corner. I sat on stool, and I think Glyn said to me something like, "Congratulations." So that was kind of a bit of a surreal moment, you know, and just sat in the corner after my first round. So I can always remember that. I can't remember exactly how the fight went. I think I just boxed him and moved, and you know, he were like a tough on journey, man. You know, he were a tough on journey, man. You know, probably typical of your pro debut.
Yeah.
And like I said, I won. I beat him on points over 4 rounds. For that, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. You didn't stop there, like as you were saying, Tommy. 15 fights, 13 wins, 3 knockouts. We go to April 2018 against Derbyshire, and you won the Central area. And then you did March 2019 against Wilton for the Commonwealth. You know, you've just kept going. You know, 2019 was your year, wasn't it? I can't say the guy's name. September 2019, the WBC International Silver Belt. Is it Dipan or Dipen?
Yeah, it were Aran Dipayan, maybe. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. I'm going for that. Aran Dipayan.
Mate, I'll go with whatever you say, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then November 2019, you even picked an even better name.
Martin Petla.
That's the one.
Tekwa Petla is last name.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. And that was the IBO Intercontinental Flyweight title. And that's the first time you went to flyweight, wasn't it? Because you were always like a super fly, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I won my first. Well, I mean, I was boxing at super flyweight when I first turned pro, and then like going back to my first pro title, the Central Area title. You know, I would unbelievably excited to get that fight. Craig Derbyshire, again, another very, very tough opponent. You know, although he's been on the road, it's hard to call people like Craig a journeyman because he's better than that, you know. But, you know, he must, you know, not be able to sell tickets and stuff. And obviously he works full time, so he just chooses to go on the road. But he's a very dangerous fighter. And I can remember, you know, in the build-up to that fight, you know, that was a time where we actually lost Scott Westgarth, you know, a very, very close mate of mine. And, you know, I think originally I was due to box maybe the end of February, early March, I was meant to box Craig. And then, you know, what happened with the fight with Scott in February, and obviously in passing away, God bless him. My fight, for nothing to do with that, but the show got moved back to April. So, you know, between February, well, it's not a long time. It's like six or 8 weeks, and everyone in the gym were grieving. Basically, you know, we'd lost Scott, and obviously we're devastating for his family. We're devastating for Glyn, who trained him, and all the team, you know, Matt Mowat, and you know, it was just a very, very hard time, and it were hard. It were hard for me, you know. It was just as obviously it were hard for everyone, and I just happened to have this fight coming up, you know, my first title fight, the Central Area title fight. And, you know, I would be the first fighter to fight after Scott passed away. You know, so that were a very, you know, strange kind of evening, because although it was a very exciting time for me, you know, it was my first title, it were exciting for Glyn, you know, because I've been with him 13 years old, and it was a big night for him. You know, I'm going to win my first title. But you know, through going through what Glyn did with Scott, you know, Glyn were, you know, it was quite traumatic for Glyn. So he had some hidden demons, obviously, what he didn't express to me. But I'm sure that night for Glyn, when I boxed for the area title, you know, being the first fight after Scott passed away was very, very tough. You know, for everyone, but probably, you know, and after the fight, you know, it told us basically how tough how tough it was and how much he struggled. But I got the win, you know, and I'm very proud to say that, you know, I dedicated that win to Scott. And you know, so that was my first title, and I boxed. I just basically boxed and moved for 10 rounds because I knew how tough Craig were, and I knew that basically if I boxed and moved, and you know, and I used my brain. And I knew I'd basically, if I weren't going to stand and trade me, because that was what he were, you know, relying on. So I boxed and moved for 10 rounds. I can remember Craig weren't very happy about that, but I said to him after, I said, look, I'm not going to stand and trade with you, you know. So yeah, that was my first title, Central Area, yeah, super flyweight title, and then I boxed. Like I said, I picked up the WBC International Silver title, and that was super fly. An off night, if I'm honest with you, in that fight. You know, that was I can't remember how many fights in that were, but like I said, he was a very, very tough kid. You know, that guy from Thailand. I'm telling you now, he could hit hard. He really had heavy hands. He never hurt me during the fight, but you know, just when you know, you could just feel how heavy his hands were. You know, every time he caught me, whether on side or on my gloves, you could just feel how heavy it were. Although he never actually, you know, caught me and rocked me, you could just feel he were heavy-handed, and he was a very, very tough guy. And like I said, that night, I weren't quite on it. I didn't feel myself. But so that it turned out to be harder than what I thought it was going to be. So that were an odd 12 rounds that for that WBC title. But in hindsight, you know, I was kind of, you know, at the time you think, oh, that were a bad performance. But looking back, if I had that, you know, because it was the first time that I'd done 12 rounds, it was a hard fight where I had to, you know, answer a few questions. And
you got to dig deep, haven't you? Dig deep to get through that one.
Yeah, like I said, although I wasn't hurt or there were no knockdowns or anything like that, or I weren't getting, you know, beat, but the last couple of rounds, I remember Glyn saying to me, look, I don't know how close this is. You're going to have to go out and put your foot down. And that's what I did, you know, and looking back on the scorecard, it was the last couple of rounds what won it me.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad I learned a few lessons. And then moving on from there, like I said, we got Dennis had already started laying the foundations with the IBO for me to box for the IBO world title, but it was going to be at flyweight. So we boxed the Mexican Martin Tequapetla for the IBO Intercontinental down at flyweight, and that was basically to get me a ranking in the IBO to qualify me to box for the full title. And you know, that turned out to be the fight that never actually happened. You know, it was just it was that close to happening, that fight. It was in March, you know, of the pandemic, you know, the first lockdown.
Yeah.
And then with 10 days to go till the IBO world title fight, the world went into chaos. Yeah.
Do you feel better boxing at flyweight rather than super? Do you feel more comfortable at that?
To be honest with you, I mean, it's never. I mean, I'd say I'm big for a super flyweight. I'd say I'm really big for a flyweight. You know, I think a lot of people, the first thing they said to me when they know that I box at flyweight is, God, you're big for the weight. But, you know, I've worked with a lot of nutritionists. Well, sorry, I've not worked with a lot of nutritionists. I've worked with one nutritionist, Lee Rickards, and he's really good. He really taught me a lot. And when I was boxing at super flyweight, you know, to be honest with you, I've always done my own diet and things like that, because I don't blow up in between my fights or anything. You know, I always like to keep on top of my food and stuff, and it's just something I've always been interested in. And to be honest with you, I might actually like look into doing a course in you know, food and things like that, and you know, you know, that side of things. it's something that really does interest me. But I did bring someone on board when I moved down to flyweight. Like I said, Lee, he you know, really, he just, I wasn't doing anything majorly wrong. He just taught me a few tweaks, what made sense. Like them few tweaks and them few percentages, you know, they allowed me to make flyweight and be really strong at flyweight. So while ever I can do flyweight, which I can, you know, I'm fit, I'm strong, I do the weight well. I mean, every boxer will tell you, you know, whatever weight you make, it's not easy, but there's just certain ways to do it, what makes it better. And I'm very thankful that I've learned them ways to do it, and obviously to rehydrate properly, and things like that. So although I'm a big flyweight, I'm a very strong flyweight. You know, I don't struggle to get down. I do it the way I do it, and I'm able to, you know, get you know, stuff back in me and really recharge, refuel, and be healthy. So like I said, I mean, I'll definitely move up the weights. You know, I'll probably box at, you know, super fly, bantam. I don't know where I'll end up. I might even end up at super bantam one day. You know, who knows? At one, you know, later in my career. But you know, while ever I can make flyweight and be strong and healthy, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, like you say, as long as you're healthy, that's the main thing, isn't it? You know, as long as you're not draining or making your body, you know, pushing yourself too far, and you're comfortable, and as you say, you're strong, you're not drained, because there's a difference, isn't there? There's a fine line, but you found that line with, you know, getting the right people on board, and this is where you're at now. 18th of September. Fightzone on everyone's telly, $4.99 a month. You can't go wrong. Against Windle, British fly, and everyone loves a British title. It's your time, Tommy Frank. It's your time. So the British is pretty much the title you haven't had. So what can people expect from you on the 18th?
Just for me, basically, to put it all together on the night. You know, I think throughout my career, you've seen bits of what I can do. Like when I've won my titles, and probably especially when I won my Commonwealth title. You know, and I've shown that. I just think that as I've progressed through my career, I think my style's changed, and I think my style, I've tweaked my style. You know, when I first turned pro, and like I said, when I won my area title, I just boxed and moved. You know, so I've shown that I can rein on men and that I can do that. But you know, like I said, I'm very big and I'm very strong, and I think I can definitely hit harder than my record suggests. So I've kind of brought that into my style, like incorporated that into my style. And I think it's just about finding that balance. You know, obviously the last fight were absolutely guttering. You know, I mean, obviously the last two fights were absolutely guttering. You know, the first one against Guarneros, when my shoulder went, that was just a nightmare. And then, you know, the rematch, you know, in my last fight, that was just frustrating on it. You know, I just think there was a bit of a miscalculation without the fight, without we thought the fight was going, and how it was getting scored by the judges. You know, so I boxed and moved. You know, and I mean, we thought that we'd done enough to win. I mean, I you know, looking back, you know, in my heart, I still think I did enough, but it's all like perspectives, isn't it? You know, it's how different people score the fight, and the main people are the judges who are actually scoring the fight. It's taught me a lesson. You know, it's taught me a lesson to, even if you think you're up, just never leave it in them judges' hands. You know, you've got to go out and really, really cement it. And if you don't, even if you don't go out and knock the other guy out, you've got to basically do everything but knock him out. You've got to make it prominent in the judge's mind, so there's not even a question. So that's learnt me a lesson, and it's just made me a better fighter. It's made me a better fighter. It's made me a better person. You know, I was, especially after the last fight, I was really, really hurt. You know, I've never felt like pain like it. You know, I said to Charlie, my fiance, we're going to have to just go away. You know, I didn't. I just wanted to turn my phone off, and we went to Scotland for a couple of nights, which were lovely. You know, just basically straight after the fight that week.
Yeah, and just stop off basically. Just
yeah, just yeah, you know. And I spoke to Glenn, and we went through a few things. He just said, look, just turn your phone off, just go away with Charlie, unwind, and you know. I was very honest, you know. I felt like I'd let everyone down. I didn't really want to speak to anyone about it, and I didn't want to think about boxing, you know. To be honest with you, and I was just kind of thinking in my head, you know, I can't even think about boxing. It really hurt me. And then, you know, like I said, we went to Scotland, you know, like a couple of days after the fight, and then I was just, you know, so although I was thinking, I don't even want to think about boxing. And then, like, in early hours, like in hotel room, I was just finding myself, like, watching Marco Antonio Barrera. And so, no matter what.
So you never switched off then? You never actually switched off.
You know, as much as it can hurt you at times, you know, boxing is what I love. And, you know, after a few days, like, you know, feeling sorry for myself and you know, licking my wounds, I just, something just clicked inside me. And I was just thinking, people are writing me off. You know what I mean? People are thinking like, oh, you know, where's he go from here? And I was just, you know, something in me on, something just inside me, and I was like, I'll prove what I'm all about, and I'm going to show people, and I won't come back, and I won't get there. And you know, I went back. I got straight in the gym. I asked Dennis for a date, which he got me. Originally, I was going to box on the 27th of August, which were last Friday in Sheffield at Ponds Forge. And to be honest with you, I didn't know what the situation was going to be. You know, they've been trying to make the fight for pretty much a year. You know, since like September last year, they were trying to make the fight with Kyle Yousaf for the British title. And through various things, you know, the fight just weren't happening. And you know, I didn't know what were gonna happen with that British title. Sorry, but like I said, so I didn't know what was going to happen, and then I was training for the 27th of August, and I thought I was just going to be doing like a 6 or an 8 rounder, to be honest with you. But I was still training because, like I said, I wanted to just get back as soon as I could. I wanted to get back and start, you know, rebuilding, and then you know, Dennis spoke to the board, and because I think Kyle Yousaf were mandatory, but I think he pulled out about 3 or 4 times. It allowed me to box someone else for it, and that's turned out to be Matt Window. And like I said, I'm so grateful to Dennis and Steve for getting me this opportunity. Because how many fighters get to box for a British title, coming off back-to-back losses, you know? And you know, people have said to me, oh, you know, the first fight were an injury and the last fight were split decision. We thought you got it. Yeah, but when you look on my record, I'm coming off 2 back-to-back losses. You know, there's no way around that. So I'm just so thankful, you know, to my team, Dennis, Fight Academy, for still believing in me. You know, believing in me. They've, you know, got me this, you know, secured me this opportunity, which I've been, you know, I mean, I've dreamt of fighting for this Lonsdale belt since I first started boxing. You know, the belt I want. But he's won the Lonsdale belt when you're growing up as a kid, and I've got my chance. And not only have I got my chance, but it's in my own city. It's against a very good fighter in Matt Windle. And more than anything, I think it's a chance for me to really prove what I'm all about. I think it's going to be like my coming out party. Although I've shown glimpses before about what I can do. I think 18th of September, winning that British flyweight title, and then just moving on to bigger and better things. And so yeah, I'm excited.
All I will say, Tommy, is I think you give yourself a bit of a hard time, mate. When you look at as a boxing fan, when you look at your record, 15 fights, 13 wins, 3 knockouts, I know you're the person that looks at the losses. That's just a boxer. I know how they look at it. I've spoken to loads and they all view it the same, because they want the next thing. They want the next W. They want to just keep pushing. But when you look at your record in 15 fights to get the Central Area, the Commonwealth, the WBC International, the IBO Intercontinental, and now you've got a chance at the British, I think you give yourself a hard time, mate. And I tap my hat off to you. I genuinely do. There's not a lot of fighters that have done what you've done in 15 fights. So give yourself some credit, mate, honestly.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. You don't always, I suppose, when you put it like that, you don't always think of it like that. But
So shut up. Give yourself some credit.
Yeah. Because I've not done bad. For when you look at it, with 15 fights.
Some people never get a title, Tommy.
Yeah. Some people
never. They can go through their entire career of double the amount of fights you've had, and never touch a title. You look at the Dave Allens of the world and other people like that.
Yeah.
And that they might have made it to a bigger stage and got the recognition as a person. But actually, when you look at the resume, he's been in some great fights, but people look at titles and, you're sitting there after 15 fights with all them to your name and you're going to have the British. You can see it in your eyes, mate,
Yeah, man. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you know what? I'm so excited. I'll be making history with this fight. I'll be Sheffield's first ever British flyweight champion. So that's no
pressure at all. No pressure at all.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. I like it. The more pressure, the better. I don't take it as pressure. It's just like more motivation for me.
Yeah,
definitely. But like I said, I'm very proud of what I've achieved so far, and I don't think about it a lot. And like you've just kind of reminded me, to every now and again look back at how far you've actually come. And then, one day, hopefully my grandkids are going to have their hands on them and looking and on this, with this Lonsdale belt as well, and obviously making that bit of history. So, when you look at it like that, it's good. It's good. We're not doing bad, and we're making memories along the way. We're making memories, for my family and everyone.
Exactly. And one day you'll have 6-year-old birthday stickers on you as well. But honestly, Tommy, thanks for coming on, mate. And I wish you all the best for the 18th. I'm rooting for you, mate. I think you're a top bloke. As I say, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're honest, and you just want to do the best for yourself. And I think you're going to get the job done. So, I'll be watching you on Fightzone. I know the whole family will be. And, wish you all the best, mate. So give it the best crack you got. And I think you're bringing it home.
I appreciate that. That Lonsdale belt is going to be on this kitchen side on that Sunday morning.
I want a picture.
I'm telling you now, yeah.
I want to watch that picture the next day.
Yeah, that's right. And do you know what? I wake up every day with a smile on my face. I can't complain. I'm a full-time boxer. I train full-time, and that's all due to amazing sponsors who supported me. One of them's here, Nick Firth Tile. If you want any tie-ons in Sheffield, Nick Firth Tiles is your man. You know, loyal sponsors, and they're not just sponsors; they're my personal friends as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wake up every day, smile on my face. I've got an amazing fiance, a brilliant family unit, all her family as well. I'm living the dream, mate. I really am, and hopefully, you know, this next fight, it's gonna be like, you know, a very, very big and special night for me, and hopefully it's the first of many. You know, I'm just gonna be positive and do what I do and enjoy life, try and help people, try and give back. And I think if you do that, I think you're gonna go a long way if you keep that mindset and you keep focused and you try and be a good, you'll get there. That's what I think.
Yeah, definitely, Tommy. Couldn't have said it better, mate. And as I say, we wish you all the best. And thank you very much for having a chat with my 6-year-old as well. I think you've made his day.
Yeah, and, happy birthday, Charlie.
Yeah,
man, happy birthday.
Bless him, bless him. But no, Tommy, thank you very much, mate. And keep in touch, and we'll speak when you come home with that Lonsdale belt.
Yeah, exactly. The next time you have me on this camera, I'll have a Lord Lonsdale belt out on my shoulder.
You will.
We'll have a catch up after the fight, yeah?
Definitely, mate, definitely. I really appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you soon.
Top man, John. Thank you. See you soon.
Take care, mate. Thank you. So, Tommy Frank, he's got it all to do. 18th of September. He's going for the British flyweight title. Yeah. What a nice guy. And what a career so far. Central Area, Commonwealth, WBC International, IBO Intercontinental. He's done so much and he doesn't give himself any credit. Look back at what you've achieved and take that forward with you. And yeah, as I say, I wish him all the best. He'll be on Fightzone, $4.99 a month. When you go on there, type in the affiliate code, JG's Fight Talk. Just let them know that I've sent you over there. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the interview, hit the subscribe button on JG's Fight Talk on YouTube, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Fightzone. The blood, the sweat, the tears, the sweet taste of victory. Join the revolution.
None of you people can tell me to stop.